At good morning at magandang umaga sa lahat ng mga sumusubaybay sa atin ngayon dito sa Sports on Air. At ako po si Ernest Hernandez, ang magiging moderator at host para sa usapan ngayong Huwebes ng umaga. At para introduce ang ating mga panauhin sa araw na to, ito po ang presidente ng Tabloids Organization in Philippine Sports na si Sir Ed Andaya.
Thank you, Ernest, and good morning to all of you. Welcome to the 124th episode of our Usapang Sports on Air, presented by the Tabloids Organization in Philippine Sports and sponsored by the Philippine Sports Commission, the Philippine Amusement and Gaming Corporation, and the Games and Amusements Board. Ernest, this morning, usapang powerlifting tayo. Later on, meron tayong usapang wushu at usapang women's basketball with our guest this morning. Before we ask the questions, allow me to introduce our guests first. Unang-una, kasama na natin ngayon dito ang presidente ng Powerlifting Association of the Philippines, si Mr. Eddie Torres. And later on, we will be joined by our wushu champion, si Miss Agatha Wong, and ang ating basketball player na only recently naglaro sa Gilas Pilipinas Women's Basketball Team, sa nakalipas na Fiba Asia Cup, si Agatha Fajardo. Maybe we can request si Sir Eddie to say a few words first bago ako magtanong. Sir Eddie, welcome to TAPS.
Yes, magandang umaga po sa inyong lahat, pati sa mga nanonood.
Okay, thank you, Sir Eddie. Ernest, siguro later pagpasok na nila ni Ella and ni Agatha, we can ask the messages. For now, let me ask the first question kay Sir Eddie of the Powerlifting Association of the Philippines. Sir Eddie, last month the Philippines won at least I think 9 medals dito sa nakalipas na World Powerlifting Championship sa Sweden. Can you tell us more about it? Sino po ba yung mga atleta natin na nag-represent sa Pilipinas at ano yung mga napanalunan nilang medal sa championship na ito sa Sweden?
Alright, yung sa first day of competition ng Philippine team, unang sumabak yung dalawa nating batang babae. Ang isa ay si Jane Erasmo, lumaban sa 47 kilo class ng sub-juniors age division. Yan ay 14 to 18 years old. Kasabay niyang lumaban, yun namang isa nating babae sa junior division sa 19 to 23 years old, si Veronica Ompod, na lumaban naman sa 43 kilogram weight class. Sabay laban yung dalawa pero separate parang tawag nila platforms ng powerlifting competition. Yung dalawang yan, unang-una medyo nahirapan sa biyahe. Dumating sila just the night before ng early morning weigh-in nila. So bumiyahe sila ng 24 hours halos, and then nakatulog lang ng mga 4 hours bago mag-weigh-in. So it was very challenging for them. Ang mahirap din dun sa kanila, yung dalawa, parehong nagbabawas ng timbang, trying to make weight. Ang mahirap sa biyahe, since wala ka siyempre sa venue na may official scale, yung pag-control ng body weight, kung kulang yung pagbaba mo ng timbang, madi-disqualify ka pag hindi ka pumasok sa weight class. Pag sumobra namang malaki ang bawas ng timbang, malaki naman ang hihinain. Manghihina talaga. So, yun yung challenge sa kanila arriving just hours before. Ngayon, but despite that, no, maganda yung performance ng dalawang girls, no. Una si Veronica Ompod. She was the top seed doon sa 43 kilogram weight class ng junior division. Ang nangyari sa weigh-in, lahat ng kalaban niya na mas maagang dumating, hindi nakapasok sa weight class. Puro overweight. Despite nandun silang mas maaga. Samantalang si Veronica naman, talagang nag-iingat sa biyahe. Medyo sumobra ng konti yung bawas ng timbang, pero pumasok siya. So nangyari, na-sweep na lahat ng medals dahil na-disqualify lahat. Pero yung binuhat naman niya is very respectable. Actually, si Veronica, twice na siya nag-break ng world record doon sa sub-junior category nung 17 years old siya. And being the top seed din dito, she was the favorite to win. Kaya lang, nangyari walang pumasok. So she won the gold medal doon sa 3 individual events and the overall total. Yung isa namang babae, yung sa sub-junior, 18-year-old Jane Erasmo, went through the same hardships as Veronica. Actually, pagdating niya, overweight pa siya ng konti. Pero because she had a few hours, nabawas naman niya. So, pumasok siya. Pero yun lang, medyo tagtag lang sa biyahe. So, anong nangyari, well, yung gold medalist sa weight class niya, medyo malayo pa for now. Dahil nga, baguhan pa lang si Jane, no? So naglabanan, ang ka-close fight niya, yung taga-Ukraine yata yun for the silver. Yun ang nangyari. Parehong binuhat nila sa first event, sa squat. Sa third event, yung deadlift. Pero yung second event, yung bench press, na nalampasan siya ng kalaban niya by just the minimum amount, which is 2.5 kilos. So sa overall total, lamang din yung kalaban niya ng 2.5 kilos. And because yung kalaban niya was a little lighter than her, pag pareho kasi binuhat ninyo, yung lower body weight ang nananaig. So nangyari, she got bronze medals dun sa mga event na tabla sila. So nangyari, nauwi niya is 4 bronze medals. But despite yung difficulty ng travel and of course yung mga lockdown na nakasira sa training nila, she actually lifted just 2.5 kilos below the Asian records, no, sa bench press and deadlift. So very respectable despite the difficulties. Yan yung sa first day of competition, yung dalawang young girls natin. And then later that day, meron naman tayong lalaki na lumaban sa 74 kilogram weight class ng sub-juniors. So, 18-year-old Agustin Lorenzo, na first time lumaban internationally, and locally nga 2 beses pa lang. So, nakakuha siya ng silver medal doon sa bench press event. Ang nag-gold medal actually nag-world record. So yung kanyang silver medal is nothing to be ashamed of. In fact, yung silver medal niya, na-break niya yung Asian record. For someone na baguhan, na medyo may kaba pa dun sa competition, he did well by taking home that silver medal in the bench press.
Sir Eddie, 2 months ago naging guest namin dito sa top si Joyce Gail Reboto, no? I think she also represented the country sa open category naman, and among the problems na na-discuss ni Joyce going dito sa world tournament sa Sweden is yung financial difficulties, no, yung sa travel ng Philippine team natin sa going to Sweden, like in the case ni Joyce, I understand talagang nagkaroon pa siya ng parang fundraising campaign para doon sa airfare niya. And also, isa sa mga problema rin na na-discuss ni Joyce is yung training ng mga artists natin because nga sa pandemic at parang hindi nagkaroon ng bubble yung team and individual training. What can you say about dito sa mga concerns na ni-raise ni Joyce Gale? And well, of course, nanalo siya ng silver dito sa nakalipas na tournament sa Sweden. But before discussing yung silver medal niya, may mga problema siyang ni-raise dito sa Powerlifting Association na kulang ang suporta.
May sariling equipment. And then pabago-bago rin yung that type of lockdown, no? So paputol-putol. Si Joyce tsaka the two young girls I mentioned earlier, wala sila sa NCR, no? Si Joyce is from Angeles, while the two young ladies we mentioned earlier nasa Tacloban. The young man naman, si Agustin, meron siyang sariling equipment, so nakakapag-training siya. But otherwise, yung mga iba nahihirapan. We actually had one more member dapat sa Philippine team. Si Jessamay Tabuan na taga-NCR. Ang nahirapan siya mag-travel, to move around plus availability ng mga gym, no? So she actually begged off from the team saying hindi siya handa dahil nga putol-putol training. So nangyari yung mainly yung taga-NCR ang na-apektong malaki. Kaya yung mga nagpunta from outside NCR. Now, we don't have a training bubble dahil we have limited resources. Ang Powerlifting Association, although associate member ng POC, we are not yet part of the main games, no? Olympics, Asian and Southeast Asian Games, although it's being worked on. So dahil limited na resources, hindi namin magawa yung training bubble tsaka yung mga kanya-kanyang coach na bibigyan sa mga probinsya. So lahat ng mga nag-iensayo for the team and even others, no, in the powerlifting community, puro mga personal coaches ang nagtuturo. And a lot of these personal coaches are doing it for the love of the sport. Marami dyan mga former Philippine team na or kahit yung mga very experienced na rin dyan na tumutulong sa kanila. So, yun ang situation dun sa training tsaka yung sa pandemic, yung mga difficulties. Now, if we now talk about funding, ang Philippine Sports Commission has always been supporting us. They started supporting us in 1992. And tuloy-tuloy yan hanggang ngayon. But we recognize, of course, that PSC will have their own limitations and, of course, priority yung mga na-mention ko mga games earlier. But despite that, lagi naman tayong sinusuportahan. But of course, since wala pa tayo sa 3 games, wala pang regular allowance yung mga national athletes natin. They have allowances pagka babiyahe, yung daily allowance. So, but sa the rest of the year, wala pa. That's why we are hoping na mapasok din tayo sa SEA Games later on. Dahil pag tayo nag-SEA Games na, syempre the support will, a lot of the support will come in. And that will be good dahil yung magandang performance ng mga atleta, gaganda palalo. Baka lang tatanong, bakit kami wala pa sa SEA Games? Well, although the sport has been around a long time, as of like 4 years ago, yung SEA Games, 2 SEA Games prior to the upcoming one, before that, dalawa lang ang Southeast Asian countries that we're doing the sport. And then later on, naging apat. So we were pushing for it, but we were informed the minimum number of countries daw dapat 5. So hindi kami makapasok. But as of last year, naging 6 na ang powerlifting countries sa Southeast Asia. So we now meet the minimum number of countries. I hope hopefully with meeting that criterion plus yung performance ng mga athletes, we hope na mapasok yan para sa SEA Games at least para yung funding problem can be either eliminated or much lessened.
Sir Eddie, isa rin sa mga na-discuss namin with Joyce Gale nung nag-guest rito sa TAPS is yung pagkakaiba ng powerlifting saka sa weightlifting, and si Joyce expressed the hope na yung pagkakapanalo ni Heidelin Diaz ng first ever Olympic gold medal natin sa weightlifting will somehow help the Powerlifting Association para makakuha ng attention, makakuha ng sapat na financial support from the private sector. Do you think yung kay Heidelin na yun ay makakatulong din sa powerlifting since halos pareho kayo na sport, although nabanggit nga sa amin ni Joyce Gale yung differences, and ito bang pagkakapanalo ni Veronica and ni Jane Erasmus sa Sweden can also help para magkaroon tayo ng mas malawak na attention para sa powerlifting?
Yes, I believe so, no? Kasi yung panalo ni Heidelin, marami kasi hindi pa alam ang difference yung dalawang sports. Pero nung nanalo si Heidelin, maraming nag-i-inquire sa association. Hindi pa nila alam ang difference yung mga iba. But it gets them interested into barbell sports. Now, admittedly, weightlifting is a lot more, the movements are a lot more technical than powerlifting. Ang powerlifting, masasabi natin, mas malapit sa brute force. Although, syempre, meron pa ring technique dyan. But it's not as, the technique is not as big a factor as in weightlifting. So yung panalo ni Heidelin, nakakataas ng interest sa barbell sports in general, sa strength sports in general. And then, of course, yung panalo ng powerlifting team now, lalong maraming nagkaka-interest. And with the support of media also, talagang I would say we are yung level ngayon ng awareness is probably at an all-time high for powerlifting.
Thank you for the answers, Sir Eddie. I'm sure madami pa ding gustong itanong yung mga kasama ko sa iyo dito sa TAPS. Ernest, maybe we can welcome si Ella Patrice Fajardo, who is joining us now. Ella, good morning and thank you for joining us dito sa TAPS. Maybe we can hear a few words from you bago kami magtanong. Welcome to TAPS, Ella.
Hi, Po. Thank you so much for inviting me. I'm so sorry that I'm a little late. I actually just came from my school's winter pep rally. It's 10:30 p.m. here in the U.S. And as you guys may know, I just got back less than a week ago from Jordan, Amman, Jordan. I participated with the Gilas Pilipinas Women's at the Fiba Asia Cup in Amman, Jordan. And I'm just so thankful for that opportunity, and any questions, hopefully I can answer to the best of my ability.
Thank you again for joining us, Ella, and good evening to you there in the US. First of all, let me ask you to say something about your first time to participate for the Philippine team in the recent Fiba Asia Cup in India. Can you tell us more about your experience playing for the Philippines, joining your kababayans, no, in the tournament in India.
Yes, it actually just feels like yesterday that I was in sixth grade, maybe, I don't even know, maybe 11, 12 years old when Coach Pat just allowed me to join and watch the practices of the then Perlas Filipinas women's team. And, you know, I remember at the Jack, at the Chuck, at the Afril, the Andrea, some of the players that I'm playing with now, I remember them from years ago. So today they're veterans, and you know, the opportunity to be able to play with them. You know, my teammates who've traveled around the world to represent the Philippine national team, who, you know all the plays by heart by Coach Pat and have gone through international experience time and time again. It really is a privilege and an amazing opportunity, especially because I haven't even played a game of college basketball yet. I think the eldest on our team is like 29 years old. And then I remember some of our opponents already have children that they were bringing them to the media day. And it was just surreal and crazy to be able to play against that type of competition. Literally teams that came from the Olympics I was guarding and playing against.
By the way, Ella, you're only 18 years old right now, no? So can you tell us your background in playing basketball? Who taught you to play basketball, and who actually invited you to join the Philippine team and play for the country in the recent Fiba Asia Cup in India?
Sure. So my dad introduced me to basketball. He never forced me to play, especially because in the Philippines, basketball is more of like a men's sport or a boyish sport. So my dad kind of just threw me in the fire. He migrated from the Philippines. I'm a first generation immigrant. So both my parents are from the Philippines, but my dad grew up playing basketball, you know, just the courts, you know, how typical Filipinos are, right? So it's kind of, he told me that he saw some type of potential in me. I wasn't very, very good my first year playing basketball, but, you know, I had the puso, I had the heart, the grit to, I guess, take myself to the next level. And he really saw that in me, thankfully. So I think I started basketball around third grade, maybe 9 years old. And since then, I've just been trying to work on my craft with my dad as my main coach before, especially. And then in terms of me playing for Gilas Pilipinas, I think Coach Julie Amos, because I used to participate in the Milo Best Center, I would go back to the Philippines every single year, the months around my summertime. So it was around June to September about. So I was there for 2 to 3 months just to participate in the Milo Best Center and also to visit my family. And Coach Julie Amos noticed me at a young age that one, I was a girl, of course, and two, that I was, you know, still pretty good. So she always remained in contact with me through Facebook Messenger. And then when I was 16 years old, there was a U18 3-on-3 World Cup and Asia Cup in Mongolia and Malaysia. And they invited me to play. Well, I was 16 and the age max was 18. So 2 years ago, I joined the Gilas Pilipinas pool. And just this year was my first time playing 5-on-5.
Well, does it mean we can expect to see more of you playing for the Philippine team in future international tournaments?
Yes, I really do hope so. This was definitely a period where Coach Pat had a lot of veterans as well as me and 3 more rookies who were 19 years old and 20-year-old. So we're definitely in that transitioning period where he's trying to get younger players more exposed to international experience. So yes, I believe that you can expect more of my international presence.
Are you planning to go home here in the Philippines and join the other players in their bubble training?
Definitely, if I get the opportunity again, and just to visit the Philippines to spend time with my family as well, because my dad's family is there from Manila, so I always have family and friends to visit.
Thank you, Ella, and I let my friends to ask you the rest of the questions. I'm sure they want to know more about you. Ernest,
Thank you.
yung mga kasama natin, I'm sure may mga questions sila.
Yes, Sir Ed, bigyan natin ng pagkakataon magtanong si Boss Edwin Rolyon, no? Habang nag-aayos pa si Ivan. Boss Edwin, kayo muna.
Okay. Thank you. Naririnig ba ako, pare Koy?
Yes po.
Okay. Total, nandiyan na si Ella. Tanungin ko na muna first question kay Ella. Ella, is there any invitation to join the professional league here in the Philippines? Dahil meron na tayong WNBL.
Yes,
Anything approach you already?
Yes, there definitely have been quite a few invitations, but I'd to express that I just started my college career, not just in basketball, but I'm a freshman in college. So I do plan on finishing my academics here in the US and, just learning as much as I can from my coaches and my teammates so that one day I could bring it to the Philippines.
Okay. Have you ever to attend a tryout in your school? In the US?
I play Division I basketball.
Okay.
Yes, I play for Fairleigh, which is
what
in Division
course?
I.
You're taking up what course?
Health science.
Health science.
Health science.
Okay. That's good. Thank you. Kay...
Thank you.
Yeah, kay Coach Eddie. Nandiyan pa ba si Coach Eddie? Hi, Coach. Good morning.
Hi, good morning.
Sir, can you please, ano po ba ang pagkakaiba ng powerlifting sa weightlifting? Is there any difference or same pati yung uri ng training nila? Parehas po ba yan?
Well, the movements are different. Ang weightlifting, I mean, we can see dun sa Olympics, puro overhead lifts. Ang powerlifting, hindi siya overhead lifts. Kaya ang weightlifting, merong snatch na from the ground straight sa taas. Meron din siyang clean and jerk na 2 movements. Una yung clean from the floor to the clavicle area, and then the jerk from the clavicle area overhead. So clean and jerk. Ngayon, ang powerlifting naman, instead of 2, 3 ang events. Ang pinaka-kilala sa events doon, yung bench press. Yung bench press, yung nakahiga ka sa bench. And then, arms extended upwards, holding the bar, ipapaba sa dibdib, and then itataas. So, yun yung isang event. Yung pangalawang event naman, yung squat. Ang ginagawa ng squat, yung bar nilalagay sa likod, sa traps or sa the rear deltoid, rear shoulders, no? And then you will squat down to a legal depth. Tapos itatayo mo. Yan yung squat. Actually, the squat is an exercise then para sa mga weightlifters. You have to get your legs very strong, your core very strong. So, ginagawa ng weightlifters yan. And then the last event, yung deadlift. Yung itsura niya parang snatch ang starting position. Hawak yung bar. Pero, instead of bringing the bar overhead, tatayo ka lang with the bar. So, para siyang partial snatch. Itatayo mo lang. But since hindi siya overhead, yung mga binubuhat dito are a lot heavier than binubuhat.
In wushu, I'm part of the senior national team na, and I've been a 3-time SEA Games player na, and also 1-time Asian Games, tapos multi-medalist sa World Championships.
Thank you, Agatha. Tanungin na muna kita bago ko ibalik kay Edwin or kay Ernest. No? Agatha, recently you won a gold medal and the Philippines finished 4th overall dito sa nakalipas na Asian Traditional Online Wushu Championship. Can you tell us more about this competition and paano yung mga naging sacrifices mo, yung efforts mo para manalo ng gold medal ulit for the country dito sa Asian Traditional Wushu Championship na alam natin na isa sa mga malalaking competition sa Wushu.
So itong competition na to, it's the first ever for Wushu to host an online event. So it was handled by the Wushu Malaysian Council and then the International Wushu Federations or IWUF. So first time po nila to i-host, which natapos na. So they just hosted it last month. Tapos yung rules po nila is we submit a video of our forms. Tapos from each country, 6 players lang yung pwede mag-represent ng country. So yun po yung rules nila. So bale since yung presentation namin is online, medyo nahirapan po kami kasi syempre kailangan ma-video yung sarili mo. So for me, I had a bit of a difficult time with regards to recording myself kasi nakailang record po ako bago ko po napa-approve sa coach ko. Kasi minsan, maririnig nyo may titilaok na manok, minsan may dadaan na guard sa likod, ganun. So if you know my sport po, sa Wushu kasi kailangan high ceiling and very wide space yung kailangan nyo. Tapos kailangan walang dumadaan na tao. Okay? Saka obviously, sa competition, kailangan din makita ng mga magja-judge ng form mo na you're also observing yung COVID-19 guidelines. So, kailangan walang masyadong tao, kailangan very quiet, kailangan hindi masyadong noisy. So, yun yung isa sa mga difficult things na I had to, that is required for me to do. Thankfully, we all pulled through naman as a team. So, lahat po kami nag-bag ng medal. Tapos yung kinompete ko po na event is yung bare hands and then yung sword, which is another form aside from the one I competed in SEA Games. So itong dalawang form na kinompete ko po, it's more basic kasi nga yung name ng online competition is Asian Traditional. Pag sinabing traditional, we go back to the older forms. So lahat ng nag-compete dun sa competition na yun, they all presented the older forms. Hindi po siya yung pang talaga, yung pang SEA Games level, pang Asian Games. Siya po is yung pang talagang world, as in lahat ng tao alam yung form na to. Yun.
Agatha, nabanggit mo yung mga adjustments na kailangan gawin nyo since online itong competition ngayon. Do you see na mas marami pa mga online Wushu competitions na darating given the situation na meron pa din tayong pandemic, and ano yung mga steps na ginagawa ng mga athlete na kagaya mo at ng federation na rin under kay Mr. Freddy Halasco para makapag-adjust talaga ang mga atleta natin sa Wushu ngayong mas marami yatang online competitions na naka-schedule?
Actually po bali yung sa online competitions, usually they release yung announcement ng mga events like that siguro a month before or 2 months before. So after po nung competition ko nung September, as in right after po, siguro mga ilang days, tinawagan po ulit ako ng coach ko. Siguro I think it has been 4 days since I passed my form na. So it was for evaluation na by the committee that was handling the online competition. And then tumawag po yung coach ko, sabi niya, sasali ulit tayo sa isa pang competition. So this month po, meron po kaming ulit isang competition pa in which we will also be competing the same forms, pero I think it's a different competition. So details about that competition will be sent to us na lang in the later days. Kasi ngayon po, as of now, I'm just training for the form. So yung last competition ko po, yung sa rules nila is, they gave us a time limit. Tapos, sa Wushu kasi, di ba, kung wari isang buong form, pwede mo siyang putulin. So this time, dito sa competition na to this month, hindi mo na siya pwede putulin. So kailangan mo na siyang tapusin yung form na yun. Kasi since very strict sila nung last month, ngayon medyo naging lenient sila as to the time. So ngayon, matatapos ko na yung isang form ko, isang buong form na siya, hindi na siya yung putol. Yun. And I think yung pinaka-important lang when juggling online competitions as a team, especially when each of you live in faraway places, like yung ibang teammates ko there in the Baguio province, yung pinaka-difficult task doon is to really find a place that's very safe for you all, and also kailangan syempre social distancing. Yun lang yung pinaka number one concern talaga namin as of now.
One more question, Agatha, bago ko ibalik yung floor sa mga kasama ko. So nabanggit mo meron ka pang darating na online competition next month. Next year, are you looking dito sa darating na Asian Games and also the Southeast Asian Games? Paano mga paghahanda na ginagawa mo at ng federation dito sa, well, kung matutuloy ito face-to-face competition na baka wala pa rin fans, but mangyayari kagaya sa Tokyo Olympics. So ano yung mga paghahanda na ginagawa mo para sa Asian Games, sa Southeast Asian Games, at kung matuloy yung IMAG next year din sa Thailand? Can you tell us about this?
So for me po, I'm just trying to condition my body the way it was nung 2019. Unfortunately, hindi naman yun yung case talaga every time. Syempre kasi nag-pandemic, and also I don't have the necessary place and the necessary equipment to continue to condition my body the way it was before. So right now, I'm just trying to make myself stronger. Hindi naman in terms of yung added muscle. It's more of yung muscular endurance na we need for wushu, and also yung stamina ko kasi it's really required for something like what I do, which is wushu. For the upcoming competitions po, sa wushu kasi madami pong na-cancel, madami pong nag-change na competition. So aside from SEA Games po and aside from Asian Games, since wushu is also not a part of IMAG, so yun yung top na top competitions na we are eyeing. As of now, wala pa naman kaming plans for bubble training. I think that will come next year, hopefully. Aside from these two competitions, we also have the World Cup, which was postponed. It was supposed to be in Japan of this year. We also had the World Tai Chi Championships, which was also postponed. It was supposed to be held in Italy. Tapos yung Asian Championships namin this year din po sana sa India. I think it was canceled. Tapos meron po kaming World Championships for next year. It's going to be in Texas. Pero all of these, syempre, very uncertain as to if it will push through. So talagang we are really waiting for the International Wushu Federation's announcements and updates kasi they are the ones that will determine if kaya na ba natin mag face-to-face, do we have everybody's cooperation, ganun. Kasi syempre from each country then it's really hard to get each country's cooperation na rin. So yun, it's going to be a team effort talaga in order to make things work, especially for an international competition.
Thank you for the answers, Agatha. Ernest, I'm sure may mga questions yung mga kasama natin. Kasama pa rin natin, of course, si Sir Eddie, si Ella, and of course, si Agatha to answer their questions.
Okay, sir. Bigyan natin ng let's give the floor to Sir Dennis Eroa for the next set of questions. Sir Dennis? Andiyan ba si Sir Dennis? Sir Dennis, yung mic po natin, pa-on po.
Okay na, no?
Yes, sir.
Alam mo, I am somewhat expecting it na pag wala na magtatanong, ako na yan. Anyway, I have to go to Ella, no? What's the status of the Philippine women's team? Because I was really shocked when you lost by 91 points to China. No? Do you think we have the ability to catch up with the Asian giants with our roster? Because I believe that we really need height. Without
Right.
we're really going nowhere in the Asian level.
Mm-hmm. Well, we were unfortunately missing at the Jack Animam. She is playing professionally in Serbia, so it's not like she just missed because of personal reasons. Rather, she's still expanding on her game, playing internationally, and just doing what she does best. And we totally support her decision. She's going to be at the next international tournament, so you can expect her to give us a boost in height. But in terms of where we stand amongst the Asian powerhouses, like you said, China, we also played against Australia, Chinese Taipei. it's a big difference not being able to play basketball in the Philippines for 2 whole years. And like I said, majority of my teammates are like 25 years old and up. With basketball, it's all about conditioning your body, your upper body, your lower body, endurance. And the teams that we played literally just came from the Olympics, playing the best of the best, USA, European countries. So we were definitely held at a disadvantage, but it was definitely the right move to, continue to have that exposure. And we still proved that we are Division A quality despite not having played 2 years of basketball. So I think that there is a lot of hope in that. And there are just a lot of aspiring youth female athletes who, want to be able to play with us, be part of the Gilas Pilipinas women's team. And we just have to continue to keep pushing with whatever circumstances that we have. And we just ask for your continual unconditional support.
Well, Coach Patrick is a very good friend of mine. Very amiable guy.
Right.
He's ready to hear new suggestions. Anyway, what is your thought on having naturalized players so that you can add height to our team?
Well, I think that's something that Coach Pat is going to take care of it, and I trust Coach Pat. So my relationship with Coach Pat is, what can I do for the team to contribute on my part? And, he's going to do his part in getting either height for the team, speed for the team, whatever we need for the team, he's going to take care of it. And for the most part, I'm just concerned of how I can contribute to the team, because everybody's good. And especially from this past tournament, there were a lot of guards on the team. So it's all about roles, really. The role that Coach Pat gives you and how you execute it. So that was my job, and that will continue to be my job as long as I'm on the national team.
So you're staying here for good in the Philippines?
Oh, well, I'm based in America.
Yes.
So I actually just had a week to practice before competing internationally with my teammates. I don't think I'll be able to stay in the Philippines for good for the next 3 to 4 years, because I'm here in college in the United States. Yeah.
Okay. Actually, Japan won the Asia Cup. Japan.
They did.
China, no? With China. So that's actually, we're not just climbing a mountain national level, but we're climbing the Mount Everest.
Anything can happen.
Okay. Anyway, thank you, Ella. I'll ask some more questions later, and I have to go to Mr. Torres. I haven't personally met Eddie because of the pandemic, no? Kasi before, TAPS is being held at the National Press Club, but now there's no face-to-face yet. Sir, kindly inform me, is the Powerlifting Association is an NSA or what? Accredited by the PLC?
Yes, the Powerlifting Association of the Philippines is an associate member of the POC. So we are the NSA for the sport.
Okay. I am interested because I have a niece who holds the powerlifting record in Portland, Oregon. She's there now. She's a lady, a Filipina. Is there a possibility that what's the process if she wants to join the Philippine team? What's the process? A Filipino American. She's a Filipino American and a record holder in Oregon.
Yeah, actually, lahat naman ng competitions being done locally are considered tryouts. No? So, usually we have at least 2 competitions a year, national, no? Plus may mga regional or age group. Lahat ng nagko-compete dyan, we watch them, we look at their numbers. So, since measurable sport ito, titingin ka lang sa official results. So sometimes we cannot be, hindi man kami available to watch every competition, but we do look at the results. And again, measurable siya. So pati international standards, may numbers din yan. Diba? Kilos ang numbers dyan. Body weight, yung binuhat. So, ang ginagawa namin, lahat na nagko-compete, minsan nga hindi nila alam na Philippine team material sila, no? Pero pag nakita namin yung buhat nila, pwedeng ilaban sa international, nagiging candidates yan. But because of limited resources, we cannot send everyone, no? But we have to prioritize sino mga uunahin. So, nangyayari dyan, walang formal tryout, pero pag malakas, kakausapin namin kung interesado sila. And meron din kaming mga doping tests, no? By the National Anti-Doping Organization, no? Under WADA. So hangga't maaari also, we try to drug test many of these potentials.
Okay.
Kasi
Okay.
masama ma-positive sa labas eh. So yeah,
Yes,
lahat
yes.
yan, try out, lahat yan considered.
Okay. Just to be clear, kasi marami din kasi nagtatanong, sir, na ano daw ba ang pagkakaiba ng powerlifting sa weightlifting? Marami kasing nagtatanong.
Yeah, weightlifting, puro siya overhead lifts. No? Yung snatch tsaka incline and jerk. We can see it, yung ginagawa ni Idolin sa Olympics. Ang powerlifting, iba yung lifting movements. Yung mga nag-gym, they will know this, the squat, the bench press, and the deadlift.
Pero,
so similar sa weightlifting, iba lang yung actual movements.
so there are also various weight categories also in weightlifting.
Yes, that's correct.
And is powerlifting included in the Vietnam SEA Games, the calendar, the Vietnam SEA Games?
Unfortunately, not this time, no? Because at that time na pinag-uusapan pa yung mga sports para dyan, kulang pa kami dun sa minimum 5 countries. 4 countries lang ang nasa Southeast Asia. Ngayon, 6 na. Kaya lang medyo nakaset na yung mga
Late
mga
na. Okay. Siguro mamaya magtatanong itong mga kasama ko sino yung mga pambato natin sa
open, yung mga makapasok.
Okay. Thank you, Ernest. Mamaya na lang uli, ha? Thank you. Thank you po.
Okay, thank you very much, Sir Dennis. Ang sunod na magtatanong si Gerard Arce ng Bulgar. Gerard.
Hello, yan.
Hello.
Kinig mo ako, Ernest, maliwanag.
Rinig. Rinig mo.
Yun. Pasensya na, mahina signal. Ayun, good morning po sa lahat. First question po, balik po ako kay Sir Eddie. Nandiyan po ba kayo?
Eddie, nasaan po?
Nagbubuhat.
Yan lang, nagbuwas.
Ina.
Yun. Hello, Sir Eddie. Good morning po. Mahina talaga signal.
Sir Eddie, yung mic po natin naka-mute po.
Yun, magtatanong muna po ako, sir. Good morning po, Sir Eddie.
Ayan.
Iyon.
Can you
Sir
hear me
Eddie
now?
kasi... yes, sir.
Ayan,
Yes, sir.
okay.
Good morning po, sir. First of all. Sir, kanina kasi lagi nababanggit yung mga participant, yung mga kung ilang participants na yung mga possible na makapasok sa SEA Games. So, sir, let me get the names, the countries po na mga possible na sumali. Kasama po yung Pilipinas. Ano pa po yung 5?
Okay, the other countries, Indonesia, Singapore, Malaysia, Thailand, Vietnam. So those are pang-anim, no? And Brunei, I think, is either pasok na or papasok pa lang. That could make it 7.
So sir, yung original na members po niya, sabi niyo yung dalawa, kayo po, tsaka yung
Indonesia.
Indonesia. Then naging 4 siya with...
Yeah, ang susunod na sumali was Singapore and Thailand.
Okay. Sige po. Thank you po, sir. Sir, with this po kasi nakausap po last time si Attorney Iroy with regards dun sa budget yata ng PAP dun sa with regards po dun sa budget ninyo nung sumali po kayo sa Worlds. Natanggap niyo po ba, sir?
Yes.
Yung 1.7 million daw po na budget na po.
Yeah, I don't remember the exact amount, but yes, na-approve nila yon. So, naka-apply na ng visa. Yung mga, di ba, na hindi pa nag-apply ng visa, nag-apply ka agad, and then humabol na lang.
So, yung iba ho yata hindi nakasama. Parang ilan po ba talaga yung dapat sasama dun, sasali dun sa competition?
Yes, merong isang di nakasama na junior na babae. Dahil no? Paputol-putol yung training niya. Part of the lockdowns kasi yung mga gyms pinagpabawal. So yung mga umaasa sa commercial gyms, naputol ang training. So may mga nag-beg off. We would have sent to
Nag-shop. Di ko po alam kung ako po ba yung nag-shopee o si Sir...
Hear me?
Ano po ba? Sir Eddie. Ernest, maliwanag ba yung kay Sir Eddie?
I'm not sure I could...
Medyo mahina rin si Sir Eddie sa akin. Anyway, Gerald, baka pwede nating tanungan muna yung iba before
ako naman.
Get back
Ako naman.
Sir Eddie para maayos yung internet niya.
Excuse me po. Sorry po. Sorry, this is very last minute, but I've been chosen for an out-of-competition doping test. So, nandito na po yung magte-test sa akin. Can I just come back po after I finish it? Is that okay with everyone?
Okay, no problem.
Yes,
Okay.
Okay po. Thank you po. Sige po. I'll be right back when I can. Okay po.
Sige po.
Yan, okay na ba? Yun. Hello, Ernest. Okay na?
Wala pa si Sir Eddie. Wala pa.
Ayun, wala. Balik ka naman ako magtatanong kay... Andiyan pa ba si... Hello.
Oo.
Si Agatha muna. Andiyan ba si Agatha?
Nagpapa-doping test si Agatha ngayon. Oo.
Doping test.
Nagpass.
Gerard, si Ella is still with us, no?
Ayun. May tatanong lang ako mga isa or dalawa kay Ella. Ayun.
Or,
Hello, Ella. Good morning.
hi, good morning.
Hello, good morning. Ella, I just have one question for you. Do you have any offers, any offer since you were playing with the Gilas team to play here as a collegiate player, as a collegiate athlete here in the Philippines? Do you have any offer from any other university or school before you get into college?
I think even before high school, I was getting a couple of interests from universities from the Philippines. Once I reached high school, I think I especially got a few interests because, playing high school basketball, I have film of me actually playing high school basketball. So yeah, I definitely did have a couple, and I was able to meet with a couple. All the coaches are so incredibly nice, and I still maintain relationships with them. Yeah, that's my answer.
Can you name that universities that offer you a scholarship and to play here?
I could name you. I'll name like maybe top 3 because they've also asked me to like have dinner
Dalawa.
and stuff with them. I remember Ateneo, LaSalle. I remember when I was in 6th grade, I practiced with US, like just to practice and watch them. Yeah, those are a couple. And then I spent some time with National University with Coach Pat in preparation for the U18 3x3 Fiba Asia Cup and World Cup.
Gerald.
Gerard,
Yun.
okay ka na?
Yun, ang sama ng signal. Grabe, pasensya na. Hindi ko rin
Okay.
narinig yung sagot niya kanina. I'm sorry for the signal here in the Philippines. It's so
No
bad.
worries.
Okay. The
I-
second question. Okay.
Oh.
You hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Yeah. My second question. Do you think what will be in your own opinion or in your suggestion as a player and your observation with regards to the type of how we Filipinos play with other countries, most especially with the Asian giants. Do you see any suggestion? Do you have any suggestion or observation if how can we beat these towering countries like China, Australia, and other Japan or South Korea?
Well, really,
And maybe
think
Chinese type, yeah.
right. I think that our main lacking point was just preparation time as it is, because even when we did compete, I would hear the athletes say like after games or after practices like, whoa, even the rookies are, picking up all the plays, because we had to learn 6 to 10 plays in about a week, at least for me, that we would run, or Coach Pat would put in specific plays for who we're going to play with. And, obviously we have to do it and do it really, really well if we wanted to, execute it well and play well. So I think it really is just time and preparation. Even my athletes, the veterans, were satisfied with, how quickly the rookies and I picked up everything, and, the adjustments that we made each and every game, although the score was a little, not the best to look at, we did improve every single game. And, for not playing for 2 years, and especially in the condition that we were in, is definitely not our best. There's a lot of hope for the future.
That's it. Last question about the last question about my follow-up question about the first question that I asked you about the teams or universities that ask you to play here. Why didn't you choose any of them?
Well, being born and raised in the United States, I've seen the types of exposure and the types of competition that is offered here in America. And I was definitely very open to playing collegiately in the Philippines, but it was always a dream of mine to be able to play Division I basketball here in the United States, the highest standard, the best of the best. And still one of my main goals today is, as a Division I student athlete, I want to just learn everything as much as I can so that one day I could bring that back to the Philippines, because I really care about the youth in the Philippines, and I really feel that we're finally getting that support system from the youth, women and men, to continue to pursue basketball as, a legit career that you can live off of, and you don't have to, like, your parents don't have to worry like, oh, I don't want my daughter or son to pursue basketball because that's not gonna, they're not gonna be able to make a living off of it. But I really feel like our support system is escalating and we're really getting there.
Yeah, that's it. In the recent WNBA finals, who would you choose? Mercury or Sky?
Oh, Sky. Sky. Always Sky. How about you?
I'm a fan of Mercury. Yeah. Thank you very much. Thank you, Ella.
Thank you.
Ernest, wala pa si Sir, wala na, wala.
Nandiyan na, sir. Nandiyan na si Sir
Ayun,
Ed.
si Sir Eddie, yun. Good morning po ulit, Sir Eddie, nawala po tayo.
Yes, good morning. Yeah. Medyo intermittent yung signal.
Yun nga po sir, masyado po talaga. Sir, yung sa last question ko po, yung sa SEA Games. So yung 7 na po pala. So do you expect sa 2023 sa Cambodia, do you expect mapapasama ang powerlifting or meron na ba kayong nakausap sa others SEA Games countries na may possibility na ma-include ang powerlifting?
Yes, yung mga other Southeast Asian countries, nag-uusap-usap naman kami to help increase the chances na makapag-participate sa SEA Games. We actually planned already to have the Southeast Asian Powerlifting Championships last year, the first championships. Kaya lang, minalas tayo sa pandemic. So that was moved, or you can say canceled, and then we tried this year again. We targeted September. Pero nung mga June, it wasn't looking good. Kesa mag-cancel last minute, we decided at that time na wag mo nang ituloy kasi maraming uncertainties. So we are hoping we can have that next year. Pag nakikitang maraming participation dyan, we might have a better case to have the sport included in the games. Nawala?
Teka, hindi kayo magtagpo-tagpo ni Gerard. Pero anyway, Sir Eddie, we move on siguro na sa Gerard. Okay ka na? Nawala ka?
Tanggalin ko na nga yung video ko yan. Magtatanggal na lang ako ng video.
Okay.
Ayan, yun. Sir Eddie, sorry po. Hingin ko po uli yung sagot niya, sir.
Yeah. Yun, to build a case para sa SEA Games, no? Nagplano na kami ng first Southeast Asian Powerlifting Championships. Dapat nung 2020, September. Problema, dumating nga itong pandemic.
I think si Dennis may follow-up.
Huh? Yeah, can you hear me?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Narinig ba yung huli kong sinabi or ulitin ko?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Okay po. Okay lang po. Tuloy lang po.
Ayan. So, yung Southeast Asian Powerlifting Championships ng 2020 na-cancel nga. Dahil siyempre delikado nun. Actually, lahat ng mga Asian and world events ng powerlifting cancel din eh. Ngayong 2021, we are hoping na matuloy siya again last September. Kaya lang nung mga June, May, June, it was looking good. Maraming lack of delegates. Na-cancel na rin for this year. So, hopefully, pagka most countries vaccinated sa pan in 2022. Ang problema, the host was supposed to be Thailand, but ang Thailand may kaso sa WADA.
Yes, sir. Apo.
So we'll have to see what goes. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So pero yung 2023 Cambodia, sir, anong chances natin makasama sa powerlifting, sir?
Hindi ko siya yun sanang pang showcase yung Southeast Asian Championships. So I'm not sure kung having the championships next year is too late to make a case. Pero of course, even without that, pwede naman mag-usap pa rin. Pero depende rin yan yung sa host Diba? Minsan ayaw na lang i-host yung kung wala siyang challenge yung sa SEA Games inclusion plus yung host willingness. So, and then the timing of our Southeast Asian Championship na delay, it's not good. Can you hear me?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay.
Here pa naman po. That's last question po, sir. With regards po dun sa yung winning moment ni Heidelin, kasi nga po, mostly ang powerlifting talagang nagagamit to as parang weight program ng ibang sports. Siyempre yung mga deadlift, yung iba pong squats and yung bench press.
Bench press.
Yes. Normally pa talagang kasama talaga to sa parang normal na patakbo ng weight program ng bawat sports. So dito po ba sa inyo, sir? Sa tingin niyo po ba itong pag-increase ng parang ng pagkapanalo ni Hayden, nag-increase po ba yung chances na merong makakuha kayo ng mga athletes from other sports, yun sa weightlifting lilipat po sa inyo or ibang sports na nag-a-apply sa inyo? Meron po ba kayong mga case na gano'n na may lumilipat sa powerlifting?
Yes, actually maraming mga sumusubok din from various sports, no. Hindi, syempre may mga weightlifters diyan, bodybuilders, those are yung mga barbell sports, no. Pero meron din diyan na sa mga ibang sports, even those who nasa martial arts, let's say, or wrestling, no. Marami rin nagsusubok and marami rin actually malakas. Pero syempre nasa decision ng individual sa powerlifting pa is, to get into the games, to be a regular sport sa SEA Games para maka-attract ng more athletes. Pagka it will feed each other yung pagdami ng tao, pagdami ng athletes, and then yung success, and then yung support from the government and from the private sector, mag-aano yan. Hopefully magkasama later on. Pero yung talaga makapasok sa SEA Games, I think is the first thing we'd really like to get.
Yun. Teka lang, sir. Follow up na po. Last question po. Yung pagkapanalo niya po sa Worlds, is there a possibility po na makatanggap kayo ng incentives coming from PSC or other government or LGUs?
I think yung mga meron naman nakakakuha ng incentive from their the chief officers or government officials na resulta. Ngayon, if you talk about national, like say from PSC, the government, yung batas kasi para lang sa mga events held every 2 years and 4 years. Kaya ang World Championships natin ng powerlifting is every year. So dun sa batas, hindi siya pasok sa required na bibigyan ng incentive. Although it doesn't stop naman any government agency from giving them incentives. It's just that it's not automatic.
Yun, malinaw na po. Marami pong salamat, Sir Eddie.
Salamat din.
Good day po. Ingat po tayo lagi. Thank you po.
Okay, maraming salamat, Gerard. Ang sunod na magtatanong, si Ivan Saldajeno. Ivan?
Yes, good morning. Wala ko, okay yung camera ko. Yan, there. Thank you. So, yun. So, I'll go first with Sir Eddie na muna. Kasi yun nga, your team played, I think, in Stockholm, if I believe. Tama ba? Stockholm?
In Halmstad.
Okay. So my first question is, what were the quarantine protocols before the event, and how did that affect your team in terms of the preparation?
Yung quarantine prior to the event, wala naman. We just had to pass siyempre yung mga tests for COVID. And then yung sa Sweden, in-exempt yung competition na ika-quarantine pa sila. Although lahat required na vaccinated, no? A certain number of weeks prior to the event. Ang quarantine lang yung pag-uwi.
Ay, quarantine lang pag-uwi. So, di naman siya na-apektuhan yung, kasi nga, pag nag-quarantine kayo, baka maghina yung team dahil wala mas dahil di makapag-train. So, maybe that said, parang, what were the adjustments in the training regime, the diet, especially nga, pandemic, baka nga magkaroon ng mga quarantine and all?
Yeah, ang nangyayari lang na masama sa training because of the pandemic, yung mga lockdown, like merong a certain time na bawal ang gym magpas. So ang nakapag-ensayo lang yung mga may sariling gamit, no? Yung mga iba hindi naka-ensayo, kaya meron din tayong mga dapat nakasama na nag-beg off dahil hindi tuloy-tuloy yung training. Yun yung epekto ng pandemic sa team.
So but at the end, you won 4 golds, a historic medal haul for the Philippine team in powerlifting. So how would that inspire you to make the team better come next year na? Yun nga, wala lang pandemic likely, so makakabik na into normal shape, pwede na ulit mag-bench press at lahat.
Yeah, hopefully kasi ang potential ng mga bata very high, kasi like yung dalawang age grouper na babae, although sila rin maraming putol training, it wasn't as bad as in NCR kasi nasa Tacloban sila. They had better access. Kasi yung mga NCR talaga na-apekto. And then yung top lifter natin, si Joyce, is sa Angeles, no? Naka-base, hindi NCR. She managed to secure some equipment na nakapag-train ng sarili sa bahay. So okay sila. Ngayon, it's rubbing off dun sa mga fans of the sport. Mas naiinganyo receiving more inquiries. Even yung panalo ni Hidelin is also helping powerlifting dahil it's yung awareness at saka yung hilig sa barbell sports or strength sports lumaki.
Yeah, so now that na medyo gumagana yung situation sa Metro Manila, I believe by Saturday, magiging alert level 3 na sila. So are you open to recruiting probably Manileños for the national team on the road?
Yes, actually marami sana na kasama. Pag naging less strict na, of course, still following yung mga protocol, no? Pag naging less strict na, marami babalik because we had our national championships nung July, and we had to adjust it para ma-meet yung mga rules ng IATF. Kaya lang yung participation bumagsak. Dati national championships, we have like 230, 250 participants. Pero nung July, parang mga 90 lang o 100 ang nakasali kasi maraming hindi nakapag-ensayo. So hopefully next year, pag marami na vaccinate, closer to normal, dumami ulit yan. And yung mga ibang malakas dati, yung mga ibang may potential, tumuloy. Yeah, medyo nag-freeze. Am I the one freezing?
Si Ivan talaga yung nag-freeze.
Okay. So narinig naman ako.
Okay naman po.
Okay.
Medyo natin si Ivan, no? Antayin natin makabalik. Pero Ivan, okay ka na?
Maybe later. Medyo nag-ifi na rin yung internet ko.
Oo. Kung ano man yung ifi, no? At but anyway, sunod po magtatanong ay si Sir Mr. Gab Ferreras.
Alright, naayos na. Magandang araw sa inyo lahat. At si Ella muna magtatanong muna. Ella.
Hi po.
Kumusta po?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm feeling well too. My first question is, how was the impressions of Coach Pat Aquino in your performance in the last FIBA tournament?
The impressions of Coach Pat the last FIBA tournament. It was definitely a different experience from when he coached me on 3-on-3, because the differences between 3-on-3, the way that he can coach, and the 5-on-5 is when I played 3-on-3, the coaches actually aren't allowed to yell or coach at you, or else you get like a warning and then it becomes a technical. But here on 5-on-5, of course, in every game really, Coach Pat was able to communicate with us every second of the game basically. So his teaching style is definitely unique. I'm not going to go into detail of how he does it, but let's just say that I'm very, very used to getting yelled at. Like that's just Coach Pat's style for really everyone. But I feel like I was almost built for that moment, to be honest, because ever since middle school, I think it's because I'm a point guard, and the point guard is supposed to be the extension of the coach. So when something messes up, the first person you look at is the point guard, because the point guard has to make sure that everything's set up correctly and that everybody knows what they're doing. So automatically it's almost like the point guard's responsibility for that error. So Coach Pat, just because I'm a rookie or the other three rookies are rookies, he's not gonna take it easy on you because he wants you to be better.
Okay, how do you balance your time playing basketball and your academics also? Kasi you have been graduated already sa high school and now you're a freshman dun sa Parley Dickinson University.
Well, I consider myself to be a student athlete since the 3rd grade, although it's kind of just like, just playing basketball for fun. I still had hours in the gym to practice, and then my dad would always keep me before it used to be like 2 to 3 hours of practice after the designated practice. So I wouldn't have a lot of time at home. But, when you love the sport, you make time for everything else. You should always prioritize your academics first, of course, but you just always make ways for you to get in the gym and be the best you could be on and off the court.
Last question for you. Is this true that you will be committed to play in the SEA Games instead of playing doon sa FIBA qualifiers of February because of your prior commitments with your team sa FDU, sa NCAA?
Nothing is confirmed yet, but I do not think that I will be participating in SEA Games. Like you said, yes, because of my commitment to Fairleigh Dickinson University, and that would be when the playoffs are really coming up. And I'm just in season for collegiately. I'm in season.
All right. Thank you, Ella, for gracing the session today. Okay. Babalik ako pag dito na si Agatha. Si Ron muna.
Thank you very much, Gab, for those questions. Ang sunod po magtatanong ay si Sir Ron de los Reyes. Sir Ron.
Yes, thank you. Thank you, Ernest. Good morning, everyone. Good morning, Ella and Coach Eddie. Hi, Ella. It's been a long time.
I know. I hope you're doing well.
Yeah, I was supposed to be on the road driving, but our barangay here did not allow me because our compound is still on a 14-day lockdown. So it's a blessing in disguise. So I got to catch up with TOPS. So how are you now, Ella?
I'm doing well. I think I'm finally over the jet lag. The first couple of days, though, my coaches were nice enough to let me rest for the 6 a.m. practice, but I had to make the 1 p.m. lift. And after that, it was fine. I mean, even my teachers were incredibly understanding with my schedule. I'd be there in class, but I think the first day I came back, I was a complete zombie. And they were just like, you need to get some rest. And then we'll see you next class. It's fine. Don't stress about the homework or much of what you miss, you'll be able to catch up. But besides that, it's been well. I've been able to see my family. They're all safe. My teammates are safe. And yeah, couldn't ask for anything better.
That's great. And how's the situation there? Are you now back to almost normal, or still wearing your face mask while inside school, or if you're indoors?
Well, it's still a law that when you're indoors, you must have a mask on. So that is what we do. But as far as classes goes, we are all fully face to face. I was actually trying to squeeze in some Zoom classes as I was playing internationally, but I am a health science major, so a lot of my classes are labs, so you have to be there in person. So it was more of me just always checking my emails during my time off from school. So yeah, we are almost completely back to normal without the masks.
Wow, that's great. And of course, you're in a few days you'll be able to practice with your school team. Is that right?
Well, I came in, I think about a week ago here back to America, and literally the day after I came back, I had already started practicing. So I think ever since I came back, I missed a practice. So because they let me sleep in, and then from there, I've been practicing with my college team.
All right. Now, when are you coming back to the Philippines? And I think the last time I saw you was it early last year or late in 2019? I don't remember exactly.
I think it was late 2019.
Yes.
Right. And I think I really hope to visit the Philippines besides basketball. Summertime, because I want to see my family there. It's been a long time since I've seen them. Even when I went to compete for the Asia Cup, I went straight into the bubble. So I wasn't able to go outside at all. I quarantined, and then after the quarantine, I went into the bubble, and then after the bubble, we went to the bubble in Jordan. So I really wasn't able to see any of my family members during my stay in the Philippines.
So have you adjusted to this new normal? Like you have to go into the bubble and then have some RT-PCR tests and then quarantine?
Right. It was definitely a different experience. I've never experienced the bubble, but everybody has heard of different teams doing it themselves. And it was quite interesting. When we were at the Jet Hotel, it wasn't just women's basketball. There was also women's and men's volleyball. So some of the adjustments that I had to make was like wearing double, sometimes triple mask, and also the face shield, because we don't do that here in America. But eventually I got used to it. And it's funny because here in America, even if you're vaccinated, sometimes you don't have to put on your mask to go to the grocery. But I like always have my mask on ever since my experience in the Philippines, and just getting used to my coaches always telling us to have like 2 masks, 3 masks on.
Wow, that's good. All right. The last time I interviewed you, I asked you to speak in Filipino.
Oh no!
I don't know if you can do that again. Huh? Can you do it again over here for our viewers on Facebook? Maybe you should. Can you say something about how you are, and maybe some greetings in Filipino? Kumusta ka na, Ella?
I'll say kumusta ka na? Kumusta ka na, Tito Ron?
Mabuti naman. And maybe say something to them like mag-ingat po kayo. Take care.
Mag-ingat po kayo.
All right. Thank you very much, Ella. Looking forward to your coming back to Manila sometime soon. Thank you.
Yes, and I hope to see you soon. Stay safe.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ernest. Balik sa'yo.
Okay, thank you, Sir Ron. At sunod po, magtatanong din daw si Sir Dennis Eroa. Sir Dennis, may follow-up daw kayo.
Naririnig ba ako?
Rinig po, sir. Rinig po.
Ella, on a scale of 1 to 10, how would you rate the Philippine team?
How would I rate the Philippine team?
On a scale of 1 to 10.
Based on our performance,
Yes,
or
based on your performance in the recent Asia, FIBA Asia.
our performance?
9. No, I'm just kidding. Just kidding.
It's just because I know we have so much more in us. I mean, we did give it our best. Like our effort was, I think our effort was 10 out of maybe 9 out of 10, because like I said, everything that we were dealing with, not playing basketball for 2 years, like yeah, basically that. Our effort I thought was 9 out of 10, but just the potential that I see in us is like, I don't know, we could be so much better if we just stick with the program, if we just have more time, if we had more time, if we have more support. I think we have incredible potential.
Yeah, I agree that the Philippine team really gave its best,
Right.
But I was observing the game, and I think that I have to tell Coach Pat that you need maybe 2 or 3 bruiser, somebody who can bang bodies with even not smaller than the Chinese or the Koreans, but somebody who will inflict heart to the giants of Chinese. Not heart, but I mean somebody who will bang bodies. I mean, that's the only way.
Right.
Massive height advantage of the Chinese, the Koreans, the Australians. Ang tawag dito, yung kunting mananakit in Tagalog, Ella, yung kunting mananakit. During the time of Jaworski, Distrito, we need somebody to get some player who is a bruiser. What do you say about that? I mean, you're a point guard, you're the extension of the coach. I'm almost certain that you will also sacrifice your body just to get the basket and orchestrate the play.
No, I definitely agree with that. There, in every position that we had, my position, the 2 position, the 3, 4, 5 people on the bench, I feel like we all could have done better. And there's always room for improvement. Not necessarily we could have done better, but after each game, Coach Pat would show us the film. Like watch how we look, and watch how Chinese Taipei looks, and watch how these other people are competing. There's always something better that we can do. That's why I say that we have potential in being a better team in general. So yeah, like you said, more bodies for bumping or more bodies to dive on the floor, but we also need our shooters to shoot. We also need me as a point guard position to really set everybody up. Even though I'm young, doesn't matter, I could still be a leader on the court. And I feel like I could have done a better job at that too. So yeah, we all definitely could have done a better job in our roles. It does take a lot of time, though. It doesn't come overnight, but it's doable. It's something that's in our control.
Yeah, it's a relief that we're able to survive India and you're still in Division 1.
Right.
Really a big relief. Thank you, Ernest. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay ba, meron din daw follow-up si Ivan Saldaheno?
Yes, yun. Finally. So, to Ella na rin. So, yun nga. You played, this is your first time in a FIBA Asia level, but it's some sort of an accident. You played against the likes of Sammy Whitcomb, who played for the Seattle Storm in WNBA. Now she's now with the New York Liberty. So talk about the experience facing a WNBA player, right, in your national team debut in a FIBA Asia level.
Right. That's a really great question, because Sammy Whitcomb is someone that I watch on a daily basis play, and she plays for New York Liberty. I'm in Jersey, so it's like she's playing for the team that I always root for too. But funny story, I remember years ago, maybe 2 years, when they played in the SEA Games, and they had a WNBA player in Malaysia. Coach Pat just told all the girls, like, hey, I know that there are WNBA players, there are like literal famous people on the court that you're going to compete with, but like, have pride in knowing that you're the best of the best in the Philippines. Like, although you don't have that kind of hype and you're not a WNBA player, you're the best of the best in the Philippines, and act like it. Like, whenever you pass someone or you pass a team that's whenever you pass another team, like, don't look down, look up, be prideful for being the best of the best. And that's something that I took with me too. Of course, when I saw Sammy Whitcomb, at the back of my mind, I'm like, oh my gosh, it's her. But it's also like, I'm going to take a stand and I'm going to walk past her with my head up, knowing that she's a competitor. And at that moment in the FIBA Asia Cup, we're like this before the game. And during the game, we're also like this. It's not, oh, she's Sammy Whitcomb and I'm just going to be like very hesitant to guard her. It's whenever I get the opportunity to guard anyone, it's don't let them shoot, don't let them pass. Give my all with the minutes that I'm given.
So have you tried watching her games in New York? Like, I think they already moved to the Barclays Center, I believe.
Right. Yes, I have. I haven't watched them, or I haven't watched her on New York physically, but it's all live stream on ESPN.
Mm.
And I guarded her for like maybe 10 seconds. And at that moment, I really wanted to guard her. That was my mentality. Yeah.
All right. So now that you mentioned Sammy Whitcomb, and of course we still have Jack's WNBA dreams. Talk about your WNBA dream. What would it take for you to finally make it to the big leagues?
I think I'm just taking it one step at a time. I've just been freshman in college, and I have so much to learn from the point guards that are on our team right now. My coaches who have coached WNBA players who have also played overseas. So I mean, if the opportunity ever comes up in the future, why not? But I think my goal right now is just to sink in everything that I'm learning here in America, because I know that it's an opportunity. Like, less than 2% of high school athletes get to even do.
All right. So another question. So since you've said earlier you're supporting the Chicago Sky in the WNBA finals, which would you prefer, the Liberty or the Sky, if you want to play in the WNBA?
That's my pride, so I have to say Liberty. If Liberty makes it, I have to say Liberty. I watch them all the time. Yeah.
All right, so one more question for me. So speaking of the professional leagues, we already have professional leagues as well, the domestic league, the WNBL. And I believe Coach Pat said last Tuesday that he will take a look right now at that league for more national team plans. So for you, how will you challenge yourself that you have to keep your spot from our Filipino professionals?
Right. Well, when it comes to the national team especially, I know that whatever Coach Pat is doing, or whatever players he's recruiting is going to be for the benefit of our country. But, I'm really going to do my best to maintain my spot. It's a spot that I've worked really hard for, and I know that is a privilege because thousands of girls would love to be given the same opportunity as I have. But, yeah, I think I'm just going to stay doing my thing, stay focusing on the opportunities that I have here, so that whenever Coach Pat needs me, I'll be ready.
All right. Thank you very much, Ella. Thank you, everyone. Ernest?
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, may follow-up din daw si Gab Ferreras.
Wala na po, wala na. Okay.
Okay na. Okay. So may we request everyone to turn on their cameras. We're gonna have our group photo for the week, and it will also come out sa ating mga publications. Okay. Sir Edwin, Miss Abby, Gerard, on po tayo ng cameras natin. Yan. Okay. And Tech, Jealousy pakuha ng litrato. And 1, 2, 3, smile po tayo. Okay, dyan po nagtatapos ang Tops Usapang Sports para sa ngayong linggo. At ibabalik ko po ang mikropono kay Sir Ed Andaya for the closing remarks. Sir Ed?
Okay, thank you, Ernest. Before we wrap up, maybe we can ask si Sir Torres for his closing remarks or messages sa mga taga-subaybay natin ng powerlifting. Sir
Okay.
Eddie, please.
Yeah, sa lahat ng nanonood, no, like to encourage everyone, get into sports, any sport, not necessarily powerlifting. Get into it to be in better shape, be more healthy, and be more productive. Thank you for watching us today.
Thank you, Sir Eddie. Ella, your messages sa mga fans mo dito sa Philippine basketball, and maybe you want to say something else?
Right. First off, I'd just like to, thank everyone from this meeting, and just since the start of, I feel like, my basketball journey with the Philippine national team, I've definitely seen the support for our sport grow. But like what Coach Torres said, please just try to enroll in really any sport, because it's good for your mental health, your physical health, especially because of the pandemic right now. I know it's so easy to, stay put and to eat everything in sight. Believe me, I've gone through that once quarantine first started, but once you push yourself to your limits and prove yourself wrong that you can go out and exercise, it's just a different and better feeling, and you'll see it in your physique, you'll see it in your attitude. Sports is just very, very essential in life, and you just got to be comfortable being uncomfortable at times in order for you to grow as a person. So thank you so much for the support, and thank you everyone who asked the question and is present here.
Thank you again, Ella. Unfortunately, si Agatha is still taking her doping test, so hindi na siya nakabalik, no? And again, on behalf of the officers and members of TAPS, magpapasalamat ako sa mga nakasama natin ngayong umaga at sa ating mga sponsors, ang Philippine Sports Commission, ang Philippine Amusement and Gaming Corporation, and the Games and Amusements Board for this episode ng TAPS Usapang Sports. And we would like to invite you again to join us next week for another edition. Ernest, back to you.
At maraming salamat again sa mga sumusuporta sa TAPS Usapang Sports. Para malaman niyo po kung sino yung mga susunod natin mga guest dito sa ating weekly usapan, mag-like po tayo sa page natin sa Sports on Air, at saka nasa YouTube din po tayo, mag-subscribe din po tayo doon. At ako po si Ernest Hernandez, ang nagsasabing nag-iiwan din ng simpleng mensahe sa panahon ngayon is just to stay safe and God bless. Happy birthday,